What's up, you guys? Michael Elefante here, and today I want to talk to you about financial freedom, which is my utmost favorite topic to talk with people about. Before we get started, if you guys haven't subscribed and have watched a few of my videos, I really would appreciate if you hit the subscribe button below. And again, if you get to the end of this video and you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. It just helps with the YouTube algorithm and helps me promote my content to get it out there in front of people who may also enjoy it as well. As always, I will have some books down below with links, and there will be several different books, again, that we'll probably touch on here today in the topic of achieving financial freedom, and whether it be investing in the stock market, about 401ks, retirement accounts, things like that. Definitely books about real estate and cash flow, passive income. Those are all encompassed in the books below, so definitely check them out if you have not already. All right, so many of us have heard the term financial freedom, or others have heard the term financial independence. And what does that really mean? So before we talk about how to achieve it, I really want to explain to you, at least in my perspective, what financial freedom means. Financial freedom is quite literally just having enough money to pay for our life's living expenses in perpetuity or for the rest of our lives. Whether that comes from retirement accounts or other investments, such as real estate, where we can build a passive income portfolio to where you could, quote unquote, retire early, as long as you're having enough cash flow coming in on a monthly basis to pay for your monthly living expenses and other, variable expenses or, fun, travel, whatever it may be. We have enough money coming in to where we don't have to trade our time for money any longer if we so choose not to do. So with that being said, what would achieving financial freedom do for you or for your family? Financial freedom, quite literally for me, is about no longer having to trade time for money. And whether you enjoy your 9-to-5 job or not, it would be nice to not have the burden of your daily actions, and have that added stressor of bringing home money and putting food on the table and so forth. Financial freedom also means having the freedom to do what you want, when you want, how you want, and with whom you want. Again, the number one most important thing is no longer having the burden of trading time for money. Financial freedom is not about being rich and being able to buy whatever you want. Although at some point in time, if you grow enough within your investments and other things, you might be able to buy anything that you could possibly dream of. But that's really not what it's about, because at the end of the day, you can work your way up in any corporate ladder and earn a high salary, but ultimately you're going to be trading more time and more responsibility for additional money, right? So the idea behind financial freedom is to get beyond that and to, take control of the number one asset any of us have in our lives, which is time. Time is the most precious thing we have as mortal beings. There's a limited amount of it. We don't know when it's going to run out. It could run out this afternoon. It could run out in 80 years from now. We don't know. So again, how do you want to spend your time knowing that it could run out today, it could run out 80 years from now? We have to prepare for the long term, but we also have to change our daily actions so we can do the things that we want with that limited amount of time, regardless how long it may be. Again, what would it mean for you or your family if you no longer had to be tied to maybe a 9-to-5 job, or maybe you work nights? What if you no longer have to be tied to working those nights? Would you still work that job? And if the answer is yes, that's great. Again, you no longer have the stressor of money. But if you no longer had to trade time for money and be tied to PTO constraints, you could take a vacation with your family whenever you want without having the added burden of, I only have 8 days of vacation left for the year. How am I going to allocate those days to best serve me and my family? Now you can do, again, whatever you want, with whom you want, how you want, and so forth. So again, an important question we need to ask ourselves before we get into kind of the steps to achieving financial freedom is, do our current daily actions align with what we actually want to get out of our lives? Society has taught us for a long time and is continuing to teach us to go to school, get a great education, get a nice secure job, and ultimately spin the wheels and mindlessly invest in a 401k, which is capped, by the way, by the government's rules, to hopefully achieve some sense of financial independence at around the age of 65. And again, that'll be supplemented by Social Security, which is going bankrupt as we speak. But again, how do you know, or do you know, what your actual retirement goals are? If that is to be at age 65, do your investment goals today, whether you're 20, 30, 40 years old, does that align with how much money you're going to need to support yourself, your family, and your lifestyle at the age of 65 until the day that you pass away? Again, do you want to mindlessly spin the wheels for, waking up, do your 9 to 5 job for 40 plus years, and then at age of 65 realize that you may have missed out on the bulk of your life, and especially your younger years? You don't have to wait to the age of 65 or 70 years old to achieve the golden years to where you're really enjoying yourself. Take life by the balls and start figuring out how you can achieve financial freedom at a younger age, because it is totally possible if you set your mind to it and set some goals. And now we're going to get into an actual step-by-step of some of the basic things we have to do in order to get the ball rolling and set our sights on actually achieving financial freedom. So I know if you guys are still hanging with me, financial freedom sounds awesome, right? I can do whatever I want, when I want, how I want, with whom I want, and not have that burden of trading time for money. It sounds great, but how do I do it? So step one is we actually have to define what that magic number is. When I say magic number, it's not a lump sum of money sitting in a 401k, although that can be part of your plan. But what do you need, let's say, on a month-to-month basis to cover your living expenses, any variable expenses, healthcare costs, and ultimately other expenses for things that you want to do with your time? How much money do you want to spend on traveling each year and taking family on vacation and whatever it is. Number two is, once we figure out what that number actually is, or maybe you need help figuring out what that number is, a personal budget is going to help with all of those things. So if you have not created one, I did a video several weeks ago on how to create a personal budget. It's a very step-by-step approach. There's apps out there that you can use, but ultimately I like doing it in a spreadsheet just because it holds myself more accountable for actually entering in all the costs we have, whether it be fixed costs, again, mortgage or rent payments, utility bills, Wi-Fi, things like that, cell phone payment. And then it'll track all your variable costs. How much money do I spend dining out? How much money do I spend out at the bars with friends? How much money do I spend traveling? How much money do I spend buying, materialistic stuff that I ultimately do not need? So if you track this for a month or two or more, you're going to start to realize what my financial freedom number really is, because you're going to say, I actually need to spend, maybe $1,200 a month to quite literally live. I need a roof over my head and food, right? And then how much more do I need to do the things that will make me happy over time? So that will be ultimately be up to you, and everyone's financial freedom number is different. Again, maybe someone wants to travel the world, or maybe someone wants to just live in a little hut on a river or a lake somewhere and just watch the time go by. With that personal budget, again, eliminate all unnecessary expenses. And the faster you do this and start to kind of live a more minimalistic lifestyle, it will not only help you save money over time, but you will actually be able to take that money and begin researching where and how to invest it in order to, again, build up a passive income stream or accounts that are going to compound over time. And what compounding means is, it'll grow and you earn interest on the interest over time in perpetuity. So that's how investments can really blow up over time and, again, help you achieve financial freedom. This segues us right into the next point, which, again, is researching what type of investments that we need to make. It doesn't have to be 401k and IRAs like society pumps down your throat every day. It can be in things such as real estate. I promise you that you can find a way to get involved in real estate. The last video we did, we talked about how to get in real estate with little or even no money. And real estate will help you build significant wealth long term, and more importantly, it'll help build cash flow streams to where it can supplement your lifestyle now instead of waiting till you're 65 to retire. And again, there's equity pay down over time, so you're going to grow a big nest egg in equity in the properties, appreciation, and again, cash flow. So that's why we really like real estate on this channel. But other areas of investment you can research. Again, read lots of books, watch YouTube videos, do whatever you can to kind of soak up information in order to figure out where your money is going to be best invested to help align with your financial freedom goals and when and how much you need at that point in time. All right, so our next point is how to expedite the process of having more money to invest. And ultimately, saving money is great, right? That's why I have a personal budget. How can we eliminate unnecessary expenses? But again, if you're only making $1,000 a month, You can only ultimately save $1,000 a month if you could. So we need to make more money. Ultimately, you need to take charge of your income. And how do I boost my income? That's where we need to spend the primary amount of our focus at the beginning. Once we get an understanding of, budgeting and what our financial freedom number is, we need to focus on earning. So again, I always tell people, if you don't know how to make more money today or what jobs are out there, in the meantime, work a side hustle. Anybody could drive for Uber, Uber Eats, Grubhub, things like that. You could start a blog. You could start a vlog on YouTube. And there's various ways you can make money over time doing those things. Again, work a side hustle or a side job. If you love sports, or you were an athlete growing up, or maybe you're into arts or music, you can share your skill with other people by teaching them over a Zoom meeting. You can teach them virtually or in person, and again, just charge them an hourly rate. And that will spread by word of mouth for other people who are interested. You could build up a nice little business on the side, and you enjoy doing it. Again, back to your current job. If it's not cutting it, that's okay. Still work hard every single day, but I would encourage you to go out there and apply for hundreds of jobs every week and see what else is out there. Talk to recruiters, go on LinkedIn, network with people. Figure out what jobs may be able to yield you more money for the same amount of effort, or maybe for more effort. It's going to be worth putting in more effort today. Maybe you need to pivot into a sales career or project management or some kind of revenue generating role. And where you may not be quite as enjoyable day to day, you could boost your income significantly and then not spend it all, but whatever difference you start making more, you can use that, save it, and invest it. Again, as over time you're researching and figuring out what areas you need to invest to get to that financial freedom number. So again, we need to figure out how to earn more ultimately in order to expedite the process. All right, now the next step is, once we have made more money and we have a decent amount of money, we can start investing. You can invest passively into index funds, again, or whatever may interest you. I encourage you guys to check out real estate. You can invest in a rental property. You can team up with somebody and go in on a rental property with them and share the benefits of that cash flow. And then once you have more money from your job and money from cash flow, all of a sudden you're ready for your next property faster. And again, it snowballs, because once you have 2 properties, 3 properties, 4 properties, the amount of cash flow is growing exponentially, and you can buy more properties each year that you have more income coming in. You can invest in all sorts of things. You can invest in other businesses. You could figure out how to loan people money to help them start their own business maybe. I don't know, whatever it may be. I know somebody that I've worked with who actually has invested in ice machines. Yes, ice machines. Think about the beach, or maybe areas where there's a lot of construction and where people may not have ice makers inside their apartments or houses. Typically, they're going to a gas station or an ice machine, again, before hitting the beach, before hitting work, fill up a cooler. They got some water, some drinks, whatever, some lunch, and they need ice to keep things cool throughout the day. So every morning they're hitting up an ice machine. So he figured out a little niche where he can invest in a couple ice machines, and he's making a significant return on his money. So that's just straight passive income. You don't have to worry about anything. The machine does all the work for you, and either you or somebody else has to go basically pick up whatever cash is deposited in the machine and bring it to the bank. But that's all the work you have to do at that point. Lastly, the next and maybe the most important thing, especially when you're early and you're young on your journey to financial freedom, is network. You got to network with people who are like-minded or have similar interests and similar goals, because ultimately you guys can help keep each other accountable. You are going to meet some great people by networking, whether it's LinkedIn, Facebook, YouTube, whatever, right? You can find people to meet on blogs, on different sites and things like that, and you're going to meet people through them, and they're going to meet people through you, and that's just going to grow exponentially. And the more people you meet, you're going to run into more people who are not only on the journey but have already achieved financial freedom, or maybe have several rental properties, or maybe they're successful trading in the stock market or investing whatever, ice machines. It doesn't matter. You're going to find new ways to invest money, and maybe you'll share them back with me and other people. And this is how I've learned a ton in investing, is meeting people who have already done it, because then you can avoid silly mistakes. They can tell you the exact return on their money they're getting. And then again, it just grows from there. So your knowledge base, your network, and your money all grow the more that you think about it and actively pursue the ultimate goal of financial freedom. All right, so those are the basic steps. Now, what next? You guys need to work on your goal setting. I encourage you to set the one big goal. If you're like me, that's financial freedom. And I guarantee you that you can achieve it faster than you think. You do not have to wait until you're 65 years old to achieve some level of financial freedom or, quote unquote retirement as society, again, pumps down our throat that we need to invest in a 401k and retirement and live life large, when ultimately you probably don't even know how much money you'll have at retirement based on what you're putting in today. So set the goal of being financially free if that's what you want, and think about it every day you wake up. Think about it all the time. What would it mean to you? Think about the things you could be doing if you were financially free today. Again, where would you be? Would you be traveling internationally? Would you be traveling around the United States? Would you be move out of the city that you may or may not like living in? Would you have a lake house? Whatever you want to do with your time, think about that every day and let that be your driving and motivational factor. All right, so now that's the big goal. Again, one of the first steps to achieving financial freedom, we need to set a goal of figuring out what our financial freedom number is. Ultimately, how much money do we need today on a monthly basis, and longer term, how much money do we need really on a monthly basis to support ourselves, a family, and whatever you guys want to do? What's that number look like? Now we need to define monthly goals on, again, budgeting, saving money, earning more money, side hustling, whatever it may be. And then those monthly goals will turn into daily actions. And ultimately, you guys have to take action every day. It doesn't have to be a monumental action, right? It doesn't have to be investing tens of thousands of dollars every single day. But you could pick up a book, you could watch YouTube, you could network with people, you could just do one or two important things every day. Again, it will compound over time and yield great results for you guys. So, ending thoughts, guys, I plead you, do not just mindlessly invest in a 401k and go through the motions like society tells us to do with, a nice secure job and ultimately not knowing if and when we could potentially retire. Does that align with what you want out of life, right? Again, life could end today, it could end 100 years from now. I don't know. And you don't know either, right? But ultimately, don't let society, put that blanket coverage of what it expects for you as an individual to get out of life. Screw that. Take life by the balls, and if you want to be financially free, I promise you can do it. Again, it doesn't mean you have to, ultimately quit the job that you love. If you achieve financial freedom and like your job, how great would it be if you could go to work every day without that financial burden of bringing home the paycheck every month to, hopefully pay for all your expenses and save up for a vacation? If that was no longer a burden, how much more enjoyable would your day be, whether it's working your current job or doing something else, turning a hobby into your full-time job? I don't know. Whatever it is to you guys, that's why financial freedom is so cool. It's unique. It's special. It's unique to every single person out there watching. And it is possible for anybody to achieve financial freedom. I promise you that. Some people do it at age 25. Some people don't do it until age 70. But again, set your goals, whether it be, again, at age 30 or later on in life, and work your way down to monthly and daily actions in order to achieve whatever that financial freedom number is. And you guys will get there, I promise. Again, if you like this video, please hit the like button below. It helps with the YouTube algorithm, helps get my content out there to other people who may be interested. And again, achieving financial freedom, investing in real estate, whatever. And hit the subscribe button below. If you guys have not subscribed already, please do subscribe. It means the world to me. And lastly, again, there are book links and other links below to things that may or may not help you or interest you in achieving financial freedom, or just growing as an individual, growing your knowledge, getting financially educated. A ton of different great topics down there, but check them out, guys. They're great stuff. Thanks again for watching, guys. I really appreciate y'all hanging with me, and looking forward to talking with y'all next week.